President Trump obviously knows nothing about history, and he knows less than nothing about the history of the United States Senate or legislative history. And from that deep, deep well of sheer ignorance, after the vote in the Senate this afternoon to proceed to debate on a health care bill, the president said this.
I'm extremely happy that we got this vote. They say, if you look historically, this is the tough vote to get. Now we're all going to sit together and we're going to try and come up with something that's really spectacular. We have a lot of options and a lot of great options. We ended up with 51 votes, 51 to whatever. I don't know what it is.
51 to 50. Vice President Mike Pence cast the tie-breaking vote, as the vice president is allowed to do, and 50-50 ties in the Senate. The president is completely wrong when he says, if you look historically, this is the toughest vote to get. If you look historically, and I mean very recently historically, this vote didn't used to exist. The Senate used to automatically proceed to debate on bills. This used to be the easiest vote in the Senate, almost an invisible vote. It was hidden in the unnoticed language that the majority leader would say before proceeding to a bill. There would be a request for unanimous consent that the Senate proceed to debate on a bill, and the Senate always gave its unanimous consent. Even the opponents of the bill gave unanimous consent to debate the bill. No one was afraid of debating bills. That is technically a vote, the unanimous consent vote, but it happens so fast that no one even notices it. Senator John McCain was in the Senate in 1994 when Hillary Clinton's extremely controversial Health Security Act was debated on the Senate floor. And John McCain, like every other Republican senator, gave his unanimous consent to the motion to proceed to debate on that bill, knowing that they were all opposed to the actual bill. It was a motion that no one in the Senate even noticed had occurred. It was Mitch McConnell who created today's dramatic moment in the Senate, which led to John McCain's most dramatic vote of his career on health care. Mitch McConnell became the minority leader of the Senate in 2007, and he introduced the tactic of refusing to give unanimous consent to proceed to debate on bills. It used to be, as I said, that opponents of bills gave their unanimous consent to proceed to debate on a bill on the principle that all legislation deserved at least a debate, and then the opponents of the bill would simply vote against it. Mitch McConnell ended all that. And today, after voting to proceed to the bill, Senator John McCain hearkened back to those days before Mitch McConnell became the Republican leader of the Senate.
Let's return to regular order. We've been spinning our wheels on too many important issues because we keep trying to find a way to win without help from across the aisle. We're getting nothing done, my friends. We're getting nothing done.
Regular order means a bill is introduced in the Senate. The parliamentarian refers that bill to the committee with jurisdiction over it, which in this case of health care would be the Senate Finance Committee. That committee then holds hearings on the legislation, which usually takes at least a few months. Then the committee has what they call a markup of the bill, in which all of the members of the committee, both parties, are allowed to offer amendments and get votes on those amendments to the bill. And then that bill, the final version of it, is voted out of the committee and then brought to the Senate floor, and then the majority leader calls for debate on the Senate floor of the bill that came out of the committee. And on the Senate floor, everyone gives their unanimous consent to just debate the bill, and then that bill is debated on the Senate floor, it is amended on the Senate floor, and then there's a final vote on it on the Senate floor. That is what regular order is, and what I've just described would usually take about 9 months at least on a complex healthcare legislation like this. That is what senators mean when they say regular order. When John McCain said last week it was time to return to regular order on healthcare legislation, that seemed to mean that he would vote against the bill that Mitch McConnell was dictating to the Senate from the top down. Last week, Senator McCain said the Congress must now return to regular order, hold hearings, receive input from members of both parties, and heed the recommendations of our nation's governors so that we can produce a bill that finally provides Americans with access to quality and affordable health care. President Trump doesn't understand what happened in the Senate today, and his thanks to Senator John McCain might be premature.
I want to thank Senator John McCain. Very brave man. He made a tough trip to get here and vote. So we want to thank Senator McCain and all of the Republicans.
Senator McCain voting to proceed to the debate today does not mean that he will vote for whatever is that final bill that Mitch McConnell really does try to pass on the Senate floor. John McCain made it very clear that he might not vote for some of these bills. Tonight, he voted for a procedural vote to advance to advance one of these bills, but it's not clear what else he might vote for.
I voted for the motion to proceed to allow debate to continue and amendments to be offered. I will not vote for this bill as it is today. It's a shell of a bill right now. We all know that.
Today, Senator McCain publicly bet that the Republicans would end up passing nothing in the Senate.
If this process ends in failure, which seems likely, then let's return to regular order. Let the Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee under Chairman Alexander and Ranking Member Murray hold hearings, try to report a bill out of committee with contributions from both sides.
Senator McCain voted to proceed to a debate that he expects to fail, that he expects will lead to no bill in the Senate, expects to be defeated. And Senator McCain laid down principles that, in effect, demand that he vote against what Mitch McConnell is trying to do. If John McCain is going to live by the principles that he advocated today on the Senate floor to return to regular order. Senator McCain received a standing ovation from his fellow senators when he arrived on the Senate floor today after announcing last week that he has been diagnosed with brain cancer. If John McCain joins Republican opponents of the bill, Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, and others, then the Trump-Ryan-McConnell healthcare attempt to repeal the Affordable Care Act will be defeated on the Senate floor. And Mitch McConnell will then give up on healthcare legislation and put the Senate in recess. Mitch McConnell might already know tonight that he does not have the votes to pass any form of healthcare legislation in the Senate, and he simply needs to go through these motions publicly in order to justify sending the Senate into recess. And once the Senate is in recess, the President of the United States might then repeal and replace Attorney General Jeff Sessions with a recess appointment of a new Attorney General who would be allowed to serve without being confirmed by the Senate for the rest of the year. That would be enough time for a new Attorney General to fire Special Prosecutor Bob Mueller and end any investigation of the Trump-Russia connections.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.